Right now, as you watch this, your brain is processing the equivalent of 174 newspapers of information every single day. That's 34 gigabytes flooding your neural circuits, and somewhere deep inside, something is breaking. You think it's just fatigue or stress, but there's a war happening inside your head, your brain versus the internet, and your brain is fighting back in ways you've never noticed. That strange emptiness after hours of scrolling, that irritability for no reason, that's not just a bad mood. It's your brain declaring the internet a threat and building defenses. Scientists are finding that your dopamine system is shutting down, and your memory is fragmenting on purpose. This isn't a malfunction, it's evolution, in real time. But what if this isn't a problem? What if your brain is adapting to a world it was never built for? There's no going back. The only question is, do you know which version of you is winning? You're looking at this screen right now, and somewhere deep inside your skull, a war is being fought. Not with words, not with logic, but with chemistry, electricity, and something far more ancient than any device you've ever touched. Your brain is rejecting the internet, and it's winning. You felt it, haven't you? That strange exhaustion that isn't quite tiredness. The irritability that has no clear source. The way your mind just stops, like an engine that refuses to turn over. You blame yourself. You think it's a lack of discipline, willpower, or maybe some kind of mental weakness. But what if I told you it's none of those things? What if your brain is doing exactly what it is supposed to do when facing an existential threat it was never designed to handle? Let's talk about what's really happening inside your head. Right now, as you listen, your prefrontal cortex is screaming. This is the part of your brain responsible for decision-making, focus, and impulse control. It's essentially your neural CEO, and every single day, it's being forced to process a staggering 34 gigabytes of information. 34 gigabytes, to put that in perspective, it's roughly the equivalent of reading 174 newspapers from cover to cover, every single day. But here's the thing, your prefrontal cortex didn't evolve for this, not even close. 10,000 years ago, your ancestors processed maybe the equivalent of a few pages of information daily. Survival data, social cues from their tribe, environmental threats, like a predator in the bushes. The information was simple, critical, and, most importantly, manageable. Now your brain is drowning. It's swimming in an endless ocean of notifications, headlines, messages, updates, ads, and videos, all competing for the same limited neural real estate. So what does it do? It enters survival mode. And in survival mode, your brain has to make a choice. It starts shutting down functions it deems non-essential: creativity, gone, deep, uninterrupted thinking, taken offline, emotional regulation, barely functional. Your brain isn't being lazy, it's triaging, and you, your focus, and your well-being are the casualties. But it gets worse. Much worse. Let's talk about dopamine. You've probably heard of it. It's often called the feel-good chemical, the reward molecule. Every time you get a like, a comment, a new piece of content that grabs you, your brain releases a tiny hit of dopamine. It feels good. For a moment, it feels like progress. But here's what nobody tells you about this system. Dopamine isn't unlimited. Your brain has a finite supply, and every scroll, every click, every refresh is a withdrawal from that account. Think of it like this. Every time you check your phone, you're pulling a lever on a slot machine. Sometimes you win. You find a funny meme, get a message from someone you care about, or stumble upon a video that genuinely hooks you. But most of the time, nothing, just empty pulls. Meaningless content that doesn't add anything to your life. And your dopamine system is smart. It learns. It's learning that the internet is, statistically, a losing game. So, to conserve its resources, it starts to shut down. You stop feeling pleasure from things that used to excite you. Videos that once captivated you now feel dull. Conversations feel flat. Even real-world experiences, the things that are supposed to matter, start losing their color. This phenomenon has a name. It's called digital anhedonia, the inability to feel pleasure, specifically in digital spaces, but it bleeds into the real world. And it's spreading faster than anyone wants to admit. If you've ever found yourself just sitting there, staring at your screen, endlessly scrolling, but feeling absolutely nothing, that's not boredom. That's your reward system giving up. It's your brain concluding that the internet is no longer worth the investment of its most precious chemical. It's protecting you the only way it knows how, by making you feel less. Now, here's where it gets truly strange. Your brain isn't just shutting down, it's building defenses. Active, sophisticated, evolutionary defenses. Scientists are starting to call this cognitive escape. Your brain is literally creating mechanisms to protect itself from digital overload. You've experienced this yourself, I guarantee it. You read an important article or watch an informative video, and 5 minutes later, you can't remember the key points. It's not because you weren't paying attention, it's because your brain actively decided that information wasn't worth storing, that it was just more noise. It blocked the transfer to long-term memory. Or how about this? You're in the middle of watching a video, and you suddenly realize you've been staring blankly at the screen, absorbing nothing for the last minute. That's not just distraction. That's a state of microdissociation. Your consciousness is briefly unplugging to give your neural circuits a much-needed break from the fire hose of stimuli. Your attention becomes hyper-selective. Out of the thousands of pieces of information hitting your senses every second. Your brain now picks maybe 5% to actually process. The rest, it's deleted before it even reaches your conscious awareness. It's like your mind has developed its own highly aggressive immune system for information. And just like your body's immune system can sometimes overreact to harmless substances and create allergies, your brain can overreact to information and create what some researchers are calling cognitive allergies. Certain types of content trigger instant rejection. You see a wall of text and your brain says no before you even read the first word. You hear a particular tone of voice, a certain style of editing, and you click away. It's not a conscious choice. It's an automatic, protective reflex. Your brain has tagged these patterns as threats and is shielding you from them. But here is the revelation that changes everything. This isn't a bug, it's a feature. You're not broken. You're evolving. Your brain, this incredible ancient organ, is adapting in real time to a world it was never meant for. The fatigue, the anhedonia, the mental fog, they aren't signs of failure. They are the growing pains of a profound evolutionary leap. So, the next time you feel that digital drain, that urge to just throw your phone across the room, don't blame yourself. Don't think you're weak or undisciplined. Take a moment and acknowledge what's really happening. It's your brain, in its infinite wisdom, fighting to protect you. It's fighting for your sanity, your focus, and your humanity. And the most important thing we can do is start listening to it. Thank you for watching. If this resonated with you, consider subscribing for more insights into how our minds are navigating the modern world. See you next time. Did you know that right now, for the first time in human history, our brains are adapting in real time to a completely new environment? We're not talking about evolution over millennia. We're talking about evolution at the speed of technology. Right now, as you're watching this, your brain is developing new neural pathways, new filtering systems, and entirely new forms of attention. And let's be honest, it feels messy. It's often painful and disorienting. But it is happening. Think about it for a second. Your grandparents' brains were fundamentally different from yours. Not in their physical structure, but in how they functioned. They could probably focus on a single task for hours on end, read an entire book in one sitting, or have a long conversation without the phantom buzz of a notification pulling their attention away. That wasn't just discipline. It was a different operating system. Their brains were running on a different software package. Your brain, on the other hand, is running new software. And the problem is, it's not fully compatible with the old world we still inhabit. You're caught in the middle, between two distinct forms of consciousness. On one side, you have the analog mind. This is the part of you that craves depth, silence, and genuine presence. It's the mind that wants to lose itself in a single, immersive experience. On the other side, you have the digital mind. This mind thrives on speed, novelty, and constant connection. It feeds on the endless scroll, the next notification, the next piece of information. And these two minds, they are at war, every single day. Inside your head, the analog mind whispers, slow down, be here now. But the digital mind screams, keep scrolling, don't miss out. The analog mind tells you, this moment is enough. Just breathe. The digital mind argues, there's something better, something more interesting, just one click away. The analog mind wants to feel deeply. The digital mind just wants to process data efficiently. And you're the battleground. Your consciousness is where this conflict plays out, every minute of every day. Now, here's the part that nobody really wants to say out loud. There is no perfect balance. This idea that we can find a serene middle ground where we get the best of both worlds. It's mostly a comforting lie we tell ourselves to feel better. The truth is much harsher, much more binary. You have to choose. Maybe not consciously. You probably won't wake up one morning and declare, today, I choose my digital mind. But your brain is already making that choice for you, whether you realize it or not, through your daily habits. If you keep feeding the digital mind, the endless scrolling, the constant notifications, the information overload, your analog mind will begin to atrophy. It's like a muscle you stop using. You'll become faster, more efficient at multitasking, more connected in a superficial way. But you will lose something profound. You'll lose the ability to be truly bored. And boredom is the soil where creativity grows. You'll lose the capacity for deep, comfortable solitude. You'll lose the rich texture of deep thought. You'll process information beautifully, like a supercomputer, but you won't really feel it. You'll be optimized, but you won't be whole. On the other hand, what if you decide to starve the digital mind? What if you aggressively unplug and reject the online world? You'll reclaim that depth. You'll rediscover presence. You'll find that almost forgotten pleasure of doing one thing, and only one thing, completely. But you will fall behind. Culturally, professionally, and socially. The world is moving at digital speed now, and if you're running on analog time, you'll constantly feel like you're playing catch-up. You might feel whole, but you'll also feel isolated. This is the choice your brain is making for you right now. Not in 10 years, not someday when I have more time. Right now. Every time you feel that strange resistance, that hesitation before opening a social media app, that's your brain voting. Every time your mind wanders during a video or a meeting, that's your brain casting a ballot. Every time you close your laptop and feel a wave of relief instead of a sense of loss, that's your brain fighting for its survival. And I want to be clear, the internet isn't evil. Technology isn't the enemy. This isn't a phones are bad lecture. The issue is that your brain, a biological marvel shaped by millions of years of evolution in a very different world, is encountering something it has no blueprint for. It's facing an unprecedented challenge. And it's doing what life always does when it faces the unprecedented. It's adapting. Sometimes that adaptation is beautiful and elegant. Sometimes it's brutal and clumsy. But always, it's adapting in the direction of survival. So the next time you feel that unique modern exhaustion, that brain fog after hours online, that strange internal resistance, or that feeling of emptiness after a long scrolling session, don't fight it. Don't shame yourself for it. Please don't think you're broken or that you lack discipline. You are not broken. You are a human being with a human brain, trying to survive and function in a world it was never built for. And against all odds, your brain is winning. It's adapting. But the real question you need to ask yourself is this: which version of you is winning? Is it the version that adapts completely to the digital world, becoming incredibly efficient but losing something essentially human along the way? Or is it the version that resists, holds onto its analog soul, but risks being left behind by the pace of modern life? Because your brain has already started making that decision. The war is already underway inside your head, and you might not like which side is winning. If this video made you feel something, maybe something you couldn't quite put into words, then hit that subscribe button. We're going to go a lot deeper into the psychology of our digital existence in future videos, and you won't want to miss what comes next. And if you've felt this war in your own mind, this push and pull between your analog and digital selves, drop a comment below. Let us start talking about the things we all feeling but are often too afraid to say out loud. Your brain is changing. The only question is, are you ready for what it's becoming?